they expressed to me about their elected officials, saying that everything they're talking about is complex issues and complex problems. And these things are stemming back like 10, 15, 20 years. And
Hmm.
so, with me, I knew I would be successful because I always know how to solve a problem. Um, and I always know how to add value. And so in the political space, my thing was California has some of the best and brightest minds that exist here in our state. We absolutely do. We have big tech, we have Silicon Valley here. So at what point are we going to get behind the right individuals that can solve these so-called complex problems? Like for me, I look at a complex problem and I get excited because it's an opportunity to decipher it and deliver results. Versus I was looking at elected officials when I take those so-called conversations that I have with the people to them, uh, they literally had no clue or no idea on how to get from point A to point B because, as I always say, they're perennial workers, not being against anyone with workers, but they have a certain mindset of comfortability in those particular places. Whereas me, I'm more like an electrician,
Hmm.
meaning that when I come to your house or your business or there's a problem, I have to get it fixed because I don't get the approval or the check. Electricians deal in completion, and politicians they don't deal in that space at all. And so during that process, I just felt compelled from getting the knowledge and understanding and mentorship during that particular campaign. Something went off inside of me, a light, but also just from the work that I was doing in real life, even in that campaign, people was like, after this is over, you should run for something. I'm like, what? I've never been in politics before. After this is over, you should really think about running for something. And that first thing was mayor of Pasadena.
Hmm.
So I started 2 years early. And the narrative was is that this guy is crazy. Why did he score like school board or city council or whatever? But from my understanding, the people that I've been around, which are winners and people are very strategic and understand how to win campaigns, what I realized is that even in Pasadena, that was a huge opportunity because they had a mayor that was unfavorable. And in 2015, he only won with 8,000 votes in a city that had over 80,000 registered voters. And there's 30,000 Republicans here alone, right?
Wow.
So if that's the case, I'm like, well, there is an opportunity for us to go and, give this a strong challenge. Now, mind you, there was a running bet that, I would get only 100 votes. And so me having a, sports and competitive background, my thing was I'm going to get 200 votes and just show them, right?
Right.
But and to bring the story full circle, I ended up getting close to 5,000 votes. I stole the voters' block, and I gained the respect of so many people and peers politically here in this town because I told them I represent a different brand of leadership, and this is what it looks like. Although I didn't get it, and I came in third during that race, but I still made history in regards to being a first-time candidate to get the most votes that I did is because of that entrepreneur spirit, is because of having the marketing background, being able to effectively communicate a message, and also I was going and actually solving problems, and that's what gave me the value that I was able to have. And so um, I know that I'm suited for this because I feel like everything I've done for the last 20 years at some capacity has been politics. And they trick us to make us think that we're not eligible or qualified for these roles. As I said, I think the electrician should be the next governor of California because at least it's about mindset and they're conditioned to get things done. These politicians that we've been electing for the last decade are not conditioned to get things done. They're conditioned to be career politicians and
Yeah.
to work, you know?
You say something very interesting there that I think is important for everybody to hear again. That they train us to believe that we can't do these jobs, meaning being an elected official, right?
Yeah.
Running for governor of the state of California that's a big job. But even on a lower level, like you said, mayor or city council, places that you can make a difference because like that electrician, you can get things done. It's
Right.
very interesting you say that because I've been getting involved in politics here in Montana. And the one thing, and I don't believe that I'm anything special, but the one thing that keeps coming back to me is they keep saying, we need more people like you. And I'm like, well, where
Yeah.
are those people like me? Why aren't they here already?
Right.
And the more I dig in, I believe that I don't see people like me, and a lot of that has to do us with our conditioning to think that
Yeah.
we can't do these jobs, right?
Right.
So I commend you on your willingness not only to run for a mayor, but also to create this campaign to run for governor.
Well, this is the thing that I explain to people. First of all, there's this mindset, the audacity of you to run, right? Because this is the fifth largest economy. They give you a whole laundry list on why you can't do this. But if I explain to them what real leadership is, you can take leadership qualities just like a successful business model, and oftentimes you can copy and paste a good degree of it and still have success in a whole different industry. And so, what I understand about CEOs, because I have a lot of great mentors and friends around me. And what I've been able to assess and study about these individuals is that it all starts with mindset. But understanding what real leadership is, a governor, a mayor, a president isn't the end all be all, just like a CEO. The best thing about them is being able to have to be able to assess themselves, which I'm able to do that, and understand my strengths, but also understand my weaknesses. But no governor operates or a president operates without the support of great allies and other great staff members that are part of what they're doing, so they can delegate to the best people. So if I don't know all the policies, the foreign policies, well, guess what? You hire the guy that's been doing it for 40 years to help navigate those waters. What we're lacking right now is leadership. We're not lacking finding a genius or somebody with 13 master's degrees or who've been doing it 20 and 30 years. We've been able to track the data of those individuals doesn't necessarily transcend us into leadership, and they make bad decisions also.
Mm-hmm.
So why not choose the alternative? Because in order to change the narrative, you have to change the culture and the mindset. And if someone is kind of on the fence about if this will work, well, my thing is that's where you're projecting upon me because you feel like you can't do the job. I know I can go and sit across the table with Democrats and Republicans and independents and everyone and create a civil conversation and get things done eventually. Will I bat 100%? No, that's not possible. There's not a magic wand. But I've been very effective in communicating and putting together ideals that people can actually latch onto, and we can move forward and add value. And that's the most important part.
What was the process for establishing your own personal values? I love how your website's laid out. You've got your pro and your anti. And I think a lot of times we don't know, we might know inside how we feel about things, but to articulate that on paper and really make a public statement, right? This is what I'm pro and this is what I'm anti. What was your process to come up with those values? Was it easy? Was it hard? Did you really have to fight with yourself over some of them, or are you just new?
Yeah, for me, I just knew. For me, it was just simply making sure I wrote it down and made sure my digital team put it on the website. So I'm a little different than like other candidates or career politicians or perennial running candidates. I'm genuinely saying this is who I am. Mm-hmm. There's no facade. There's no, this is my platform that's catered to specifically you or this particular group. I am saying, hey, this is who I am, but I'm open to work and to build with everyone because my campaign is representative of all Californians at this point. I don't have the luxury to choose a side, to just stick with the party and make all policies that's beneficial for those individuals. I'm showing you who I am, but I'm open for the conversation on how we can explore and evolve together because the ultimate goal, if we're just being honest and fair, is to restore our state because we're all unified in frustration at this point, and we have to work together in order for us to move forward beyond where we are right now, and that's important to know.
How do you combat that, fix our state? I mean, I get it, right? Because the things that you're pro, God, family, freedom, and the list goes on, those are things I believe in wholeheartedly. But there's a lot of people that live in California that would argue that the state doesn't need fixing. I've got a great client that I love and respect. He's in his 90s, and he loves the state of affairs in California. You know,
right.
How do you showcase the differences in how it could be better than what this person feels about the state?
Well, you have to be realistic about it. You won't be able to, compel 100% of anybody, in anything that you're doing. But the best way that you can move forward is just be direct with your messaging and be effective and understand that your messaging can't always go towards one specific area or one specific group. If I go to, Central Valley their issues are way different than in LA or San Francisco, right? They care centrally about water and the restrictions that they're having that's, putting a strain on them and their farming industry and the agriculture industry. Versus you come to LA, people are talking about taxes, the gas tax, the crime, the homelessness, right? And so for me, it's just understanding that, being patient and working my way through with my messaging to be effective with them and just highlighting. That may not be your issue. That may not be something that really affects you. But if you truly care about the state, I want to let you know this is what's happening also. And this is why we have to fight to change it. It may not need fixing in your particular area, but this does exist.
Mm-hmm.
And so we highlight what actually exists, and hopefully they'll be able to make an informed decision based upon why I do say we do need to fix a lot of things. And there is a laundry list, but at the same time, this is California. It's still one of the top brands of all brands. It's an amazing place, and people are still in love with it, which is why when I'm doing like meet and greets, or if I'm just out publicly talking to people, before we get into deep conversations about the issues or what we need to do, I ask them a question. I say, what do you love about California?
Mm-hmm.
So if we can start from that foundation and just remember those key moments, that actually gives us more ammunition to go out and tackle those so-called complex and tough issues that we're fighting against right now.
I could probably spend probably the whole day talking about your pros and antis, but I'm going to pick one because it's near and dear to my heart, and it's a pro, and that's legal immigration. I owned a tequila company. I had a distillery down in just outside of Guadalajara. Had beautiful employees down there, a few of which wanted to come to the United States legally, and we fought and we wrote letters and deny. The route to legal immigration was so challenging for these great, highly qualified individuals. I became so frustrated. And it's my understanding, and this is the answers I'm looking for, is that the system is so crowded with all this chaos, right, that the good ones are really challenged to get through because there's not an easy system to get through. And, there's a lot of people that I love and respect that live in California that came here legally, but maybe their family didn't or a friend didn't, and they're just so against the current administration's immigration policy. And I don't know that they see beyond what's right in front of them. So I would love to hear a little bit about your position on legal immigration. A lot of my listeners come from Mexico and live here and there.
Right. Well, so I will give you full context. We are a land of immigrants,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
What I stand for is I'm not against immigrants.
Right.
I'm against illegal immigrants, meaning the process of how you actually got here. I believe in law and order as well, right? And so that I always like to, share that in context. We do have a very flooded system when it comes to that, which is our reform. Our immigration system is required, and it's very necessary because, as you stated, we do have, we do have individuals who have the ability to add value to our economy, right? They're doing the right thing. They're going about it the right way. And I feel like there should be a more expedited process that's available for those individuals, especially if they have the backing of the individuals like yourself or the companies that's saying, hey, they're a part of this organization. They're a part of this company for X amount of time. This is what they're doing. This is the protocol, etc. And that in itself should help them expedite their process. But as you said, there is so much jam packed in their particular systems. It kind of lumps them all together, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
And so that's something that we want to truly address with me becoming the next governor, just really put together a task force so we can go in and dismantle a lot of those things and kind of restructure and recreate through the reform process so those particular individuals do not get punished for the ones who are crowding up our system, and also just fighting against sanctuary cities and being in sanctuary states as well. We do not believe in that with our campaign because we know the unintended consequences that comes from that. So we're playing catch up. We're dealing with health care. We're dealing with crime increase. We're dealing with drug trafficking. We're dealing with child and adult sex trafficking as well. And so for the individuals, even with your listeners that are watching right now who have done it the right way, that may have a family member or family members that have done it the wrong way, and so they feel a certain way about it, you have to be able to see both sides of it. If you do truly love this state, do you believe in law and order? Do you believe that it specifically should be for someone else, but not for you? We have to bring fairness back to the table and have a real, honest, genuine conversation about it, because the Black and brown community is paying dearly for the immigration lack thereof or the rules and regulations that are in place. and that people are just not going about it in the most appropriate way. So as a leader, I want to simplify it. I want to say I'm going to be against illegal immigration, and we're also going to reform the process of the individuals who want to contribute to our state in an effective, positive way, and want to make sure those individuals get expedited. For me, I think that's kind of like a